And welcome back to another Paul's Aquariums unboxing video. I am Paul, this is Paul's Aquariums, aquarium shop in Brisbane, Australia for the last 26 years, since 1999. Yeah, scary stuff. Anyway, we're going to unbox some really awesome fish in this video. Lots of fish I want to take home, but I am not, because I've actually ordered fish for myself this week, which is not in this video. You may see another video if you remember. Anyway, let's get started. And bag number one, oh, we have some really nice female betta fish. Okay, there should be a couple of bags of these in here, so let me rummage around. Yes, okay. So these are female bettas, obviously, or female fighting fish, or Siamese fighting fish. Now, the really cool thing with the females is you can keep groups of them together and they are as colourful as the males now. They used to be a brown boring fish like 20 years ago or so. Now they've sort of line bred them and there are all sorts of colours. And wow, okay, orange and green girl. There's a couple. Be very quick. If you're seeing this unboxing and you want one of these, either send me a message at the shop or comment down below or do something, and yeah, we can have them available tomorrow for you, because this is Friday night unboxing and all these fish are fish that have come in this week if you're watching this on upload. Of course you are. Why wouldn't you be watching this on upload? But lots and lots of female betta fish. A good thing with these is you can keep a group of them, so you want 3 or more. Probably the smaller size tank is about 50-60 litres, and you can have 3, you can have 6 in there. If you find one is super aggressive, you can add another one to the mix, and that sort of evens out the aggression. So the more you have, the easier it is to look after them. Complete opposite than the boys. The boys don't like other fish in their territory, where the girls are fine in groups. Only thing you don't want to mix with these is things like guppies with their long flowing tails, because they're going to get confused, think they're male fighters, keep nipping at the tail, and it just generally doesn't work for the poor guppies. So you can keep these with tetras, other sort of small community fish, as long as there's enough room for them to get away from nippy little betta fish. But a nice group of these together in a tank looks absolutely amazing. You want your pH anything from 6 to 7 and your temperature anything from like 25 degrees up to 30 degrees Celsius, and they will do really well. There are some really nice orange ones, as you can see on the screen. But first lot is female betta fish, and I think these are a mixture of half moons, deltas, who knows, really fancy nice genetics to them. Ooh. Have not had these for years, and yes, I have actually ordered some for myself as well. These are lipstick LEPORONUS. There should be a few bags of these. Now, they are a South American, really weird, angry fish. Well, they're not angry, but they will nip and eat little fish. They're going to max out around 20 to 25 centimeters. These are like the banded LEPORONUS with the normal sort of stripes, well, vertical stripes. These have horizontal stripes. Confused? You should be. But these are super awesome. Nippy again, but you can keep them with South American sort of cichlids. What did I say, cichlids? Well, you can keep them with South American cichlids. That sounded much better. And slightly bigger things like silver dollars and all that sort of rough and tumble fish, geophagus, you name it. Very awesome fish. If you want something very unusual, very big, you can have one or a group. In the wild, they live in groups, but they are so cool. I know, I've only taken a few home for myself, but there is another 5 or 6 available for the shop. Have not had these for absolutely ages, but there's even cooler stuff in this video. I know, these are pretty weird, these are pretty cool, and these are not overly expensive, which is kind of horrifying, because the other ones, like the horizontal stripe ones, no, wait, the vertical stripe ones, I'm getting it all confused. The vertical stripe ones are usually like $30, $40. These ones are under $30. I know, be super quick, be very quick. Quick. You could be as quick as me. Maybe. Okay, not as exciting, but still very cool. We have neon tetras, and again, there should be a fair few bags of neon tetras. Obviously, red, blue, South American, peaceful little tiny tetras. You can keep a group of these with the female bettas, but you don't want to keep these with the LEPORONUS, because the LEPORONUS will just destroy them. They don't get very big. They are super peaceful, obviously. Probably going to max out about 3 to 4 centimeters on average. Schooling tropical fish, so you want your pH 6 to 7 again, and temperature anything from 22 degrees up to like 26 degrees, and they will be perfectly fine. Very awesome little fish. If you want something colorful, cheap, and awesome for a community tank, go your neon tetras. You really can't go past that. And I'm pretty sure I still have some albinos from last week's unboxing as well, and they are equally as awesome as these, if not even more awesome, because you can kind of see through them, which is weird. If you want to see those, check out the last unboxing video last Friday. I'm wearing the wrong t-shirt for this. We have crabs. Barbara has crabs. No, she doesn't. Sorry to any Barbaras watching this. If you would like crabs, we do sell crabs. These are land hermit crabs. Don't live in water, they live in the beaches in Darwin, right up the top of Northern Australia. Very, very cool, weird things. Obviously, they are born without a shell, but they use snail shells, and they sort of upgrade the size shell as they mature and get bigger. They're going to get pretty big. They're going to get sort of tennis ball sort of size. These are obviously a little bit smaller. They're in a bag. Going, why are we in a bag? So we're going to get them out and we're going to pop them in our crab tank. But they want lots of climbing places. They want warm, humid environment because they actually breathe through humidity. So they need high humidity and a warm temperature to be able to live quite happily. So heat pads and stuff like that in winter, deep sand beds, salt water, fresh water to bathe in and drink, and lots of climbing things. But if you want to know more about hermit crabs, we've had them for absolutely years, kept them, and a few of our customers have even bred them now. You know who you are if you're watching this. If you're not watching this, a couple of customers have bred them, which is kind of crazy because that's very, very small, little tiny baby hermit crabs. Very cool, land hermit crabs back in. Oh, look at these. Oh, oh wow. Okay, last time we sold out really, really quickly, but look how cool they are. They are like little golf balls with fins. Yes, these are goldfish, but they're a genetic mutation of a goldfish and then line bred. They're called a Pearscale, which is technically like a golf ball with fins. Kind of crazy. They do not get as big as normal goldfish, but they're still going to get a decent sort of size. So not like 30, 40 centimeters of a normal goldfish, but these are sort of like a stunted version, a little bit more delicate. So you don't really want to mix them with just comets and normal goldfish because they're going to hog all the food and these little things are just going to wobble around the tank and wonder what's happening. But very, very cool if you want a little bit specialized in your goldfish. Look at one of the beady black eyes. They're just so nice. Eventually, I know, they look horrible and everyone's like, oh my God, they look horrible. Well, they don't. They look kind of cool. I know, I'll have to keep them one day, but we have Pearscale Goldfish back in. Oh my goodness. Okay, more goldfish. Look at those. They're missing bits. They're missing the top dorsal fin because that is another genetic thing. See how they got like an elongated body, and they got a weird little tiny tail that doesn't do much. Look like weird little old man. I know I keep saying that, but if you're a weird little old man, you look like that, don't you? Comment down below if you're a weird cut. These are called Ranchus, which is another type of goldfish. They get a little bit bigger than the Pearscales, but not as big as your normal comets again. Again, a little bit specialized because they're missing the top dorsal fin and they've got a weird little double tail. It takes them longer to get to the food. So you don't want to mix these with normal comets who are going to go straight over to the food, eat all the food. And these are going to go, what happened? Where's the food? I'm a weird little man. Cut. And I nearly forgot these awesome, awesome tetras. They look like Rumnose Tetras, but they're actually a different species. Now, for some reason, they're calling them brilliant head Rumnose, but they're otherwise known as brilliant Rumnose. They get a little bit bigger than a normal Rumnose Tetra. Love the water, really acidic, so your normal Rumnose can survive all the way down to about 3.5 and 4.5 pH, which is kind of ridiculous. That is really, really acidic. You want to keep these guys and girls anything from 6 to 7, and they are a tropical fish, so you want to keep them around that sort of 22 to 26, 28 degrees Celsius, and they will go super, super well. So with the brilliant Rumnose, they've got that weird sort of iridescent sheen to them, kind of a purpley blue sort of sheen to them, and the red on the nose actually extends a little bit more than a normal Rumnose. Otherwise, they have the same stripy tail as your normal Rumnose Tetras do. Schooling, so you want to keep a group of 5 or 6 together, if not more. But they're a really, really cool Tetra. Haven't had these for quite a while, but they're just something slightly different than a normal Rumnose. If you're going to keep them with your normal Rumnose Tetras, try and keep a group of both of them because they're going to swim individually as well. Anyway, awesome, awesome little Tetras if you want a different Rumnose that's not a Rumnose and for some reason called Diamond Head Rumnose. which is just a brilliant rummy nose, or brilliant head diamond rummy nose. There's a lot of weird names. And one of the oldest aquarium fish ever, Checkered Barbs, they have been around for a long time, or Checkered Barbs, Checkered Barbs. I think some people call them Checkered Barbs, some people call them Checkered Barbs. Same sort of thing, same fish, just different names. But these are a nice, peaceful little barb. They're gonna max out about 4.5 centimeters. Just have a weird checkered pattern to them, and they're a barb. So not overly nippy. You can keep these with guppies and stuff like that. Cherry barbs, tetras, all that sort of thing. They're an Asian fish. They want the temperature roughly between 22 and 26 degrees Celsius, and keep your pH anything from like 6.5 to 7, 7.2, and they will be perfectly fine. Cool little schooling fish. So keep a group of them. So you want obviously 5 or 6 or more, and they will just look awesome. If you want a slightly different cool schooling tetra, no, not a tetra, a barb, go for these, because they're like a tetra, but they're a barb from the other side of the world. Yes. Okay, these are one of the weirdest fish you're ever gonna see. These are called dusty hatchet fish, and if you've seen any of my fish room videos, I've kept a group of 5 or 6 of these. I think there's 6, there might be 5, I'm not entirely sure because I don't count. Can't count, obviously, but they are absolutely amazing. So normal hatchet fish have a weird hatchety sort of shape to them. Yes, they do. True and weird. These are like a bigger version. So dusty hatchet fish or giant hatchet fish, gonna get about 15-20 centimeters. Big schooling, awesome fish. Look weird. They look like someone has got a hatchet fish and stretched it out and made it just into this weird looking fish. Big schooling, awesome. You can keep them with rainbow fish. Probably wouldn't want to keep them with neon tetra size stuff, but anything slightly bigger. They're from South America, so again, they're a tropical fish, 22 to 26 degrees Celsius. pH wise, anything from 6 to 7. Big schooling, awesome fish. I think I've got just under 20 of them available. You need to come in and get some of these because they are absolutely awesome. If you've got a slightly bigger tank, anything from like say 3 foot bigger, maybe 4 foot or bigger, have a group of these and they are incredibly awesome. Mine have grown from probably this size when I got them to about 3 times the size in the last 6 months. They are so nice. I am not going to take any more home, even though I do want to take all of these home because they are absolutely amazing. I want to spawn mine in spring, hopefully if they're big enough, but yes, come in and get these because it's the first time we've had them in 6 months and I'm not taking them home. So that's fair game for anyone watching this. So if you're worried if we're going to sell out or not, contact me on social media and first in, first served, or drop by on the weekend if you're watching this on opening, uploading, you know what I mean, and hopefully we will have some. We might not even sell out. Everyone might go, oh, they're weird and boring and no one wants those except you weirdo. But if they don't sell, I'm taking them home. Haha. Such a cool fish. Okay, another cool fish are these, and these are albino. What are they? These are albino cherry barbs. Oh, they are so cool. We did have these, I think, about 3 or 4 weeks ago and we sold out instantly. So we got more now. Hopefully we won't sell out. They glow in the tank. Super peaceful, super awesome. Again, a tropical fish. They are a barb from Asia. They're going to live anything from 22 to 26 degrees Celsius, pH 6 to about 7.2 or so, and they're schooling. And they're peaceful, so you can keep these with guppies, keep them with neons, all small, peaceful fish. These are going to max out about 4 to 5 centimeters at the most. But look at them. They are so nice. Awesome little community fish if you want something super bright and super, super awesome. Okay, another fish we have not had for ages, and I don't know why, but they are back in stock now, is Autosyninkless Catfish. Now these are a little South American catfish, awesome little algae eaters. They are one of the smaller types of sucking catfish you can get. Super peaceful, fine with tetras, heavily planted tanks. They eat biofilm and algae off plants, etc, etc. They're schooling, so you want a group of them, so try and get like about 4 or more. You probably get away with 3, but they are super shy, so the less you have, the harder they are to keep and make happy, if that even makes sense. So if you have a group of them, they're going to be more inclined to eat and get settled into a tank. They like the water acidic, so anything from 6 to 7, and temperature-wise, anything from 24 to 28 degrees Celsius, and they will do well. They are just an awesome little catfish. I have a fair few bags of these, so we shouldn't sell out super, super quick, but you want to group at least of 3 or 6 of these for any little nice community tank, and they will go wonderful. And we have the normal Rumnose Tetras. Okay, so like the brilliant Rumnose head tetra things, but these are the normal version. So red nose, stripy tail, schooling, Everything we said about the diamond head Rumnose Tetras is the same with these, apart they don't have the diamond Rumnose Tetra head bit. Yes, schooling, awesome, peaceful, great fish if you want something super cool for your community tank. Get them because they're really, really nice. And more Tetras from South America. Okay, these are super small, about half the size of a neon Tetra, bright red. These are Ember Tetras. Lovely little peaceful schooling fish. Kind of get away with them with shrimp and stuff like that because they are so small. They're going to eat baby shrimp, but they're not really going to eat adult shrimp or anything. But they max out about 2.5 centimeters. Bright, bright red. Once they settle into a tank, they will go super red, really pretty little fish, and again, super peaceful. Anything temperature-wise 22 to 26, and pH-wise anything from 6.5 to 7, they will be fine. Lovely little schooling fish. If you want something red, small, and lovely, that's what they are. Ember Tetras. And more barbs. Okay, golden barbs. So these get a little bit bigger than the checkered barbs. Again, an Asian fish. They're schooling. You probably wouldn't want to mix them with guppies because they will get around that sort of 6 to 8 centimeters at the most. Called a golden barb because they're a barb and they're golden. So keep them with slightly bigger tetras, slightly bigger barbs, small cichlids, that sort of stuff. pH-wise, anything from 6.5 to close on 7.5, and temperature-wise, anything from 20 degrees Celsius all the way up to like about 26, 28 degrees Celsius, and they will be fine. Just an awesome looking gold barb, and they have been in the aquarium trade for a long, long time. They're one of the older types of fish that people have always had. I don't even know if they've got any colour morphs. I've never seen any albino ones or anything weird like that. They've just always been golden barbs. I remember having these as a kid 40 so years ago, and they looked exactly the same. Very, very cool if you want a group of something. Get slightly bigger. Again, as I said, schooling, so get 5 or more of them, but we have golden barbs back in. So I didn't realize I had so many fish in this unboxing, but I do apparently, and we have more gouramis. Okay, these are more sparkling gouramis. Why have we got more sparkling gouramis? Because they're small, they're cute, they're cheap, and they keep selling out. So sparkling gouramis are an Asian gourami, and they will stay about that sort of 4 centimeters or so. Very small, very pretty, bright emerald green on them, and just a lovely little dwarf fish. So you've got a nano tank, heavily planted tank. These will go fine with tetras and small raspora and all that sort of stuff. pH-wise, anything from 6 to 7, and temperature-wise, anything from like 24 degrees up to 28. They will be perfectly fine. They're not schooling, so you can have one or a group. They kind of do better in groups. If you have groups of 5 or more, you're going to see them more, and they interact with each other and generally look pretty awesome. But I think we've got a fair few bags of those again this time. Yes, we do. We do. And more nano fish. Okay, Pygmy Corydoris, or Corydoris Pymus. I know, well, I had to think on that name, didn't they? These are one of the smaller types of Corydoris. Again, we can't get any of the other Hastatus or Hasbrosis or anything like that at the moment, but these are the next best thing. If you want a small, peaceful little Corydoris, gonna max out about that sort of 3 centimeters, maybe 4 centimeters at the most. Super peaceful. You can keep these with shrimp, you can keep these with tetras, raspora, anything small. They are a schooling no, they're not a tetra. Schooling Corydoris. I get confused sometimes, and I got confused right then. They are a schooling Corydoris. You can have groups of like 5, 6 or more. Once you get a nice group of them, they just all do their thing together, and they're just a really nice little tiny peaceful catfish. They're not an algae-eating catfish. They're just going to rummage off the bottom and eat detritus and sinking food and bits and pieces, stuff like that. Little tiny worms. Very, very lovely little fish. But yes, tropical fish again, so 22 to 26 degrees, pH-wise 6 to 7, and you will be perfectly fine with them. Awesome little fish. I've kept these for years. I know, so I'm not taking these home because I do have lots of them at home. Haha. More ottos. I did tell you I had more ottos. Golden dwarf cichlids. These are a South American peaceful little cichlid. They're going to max out about sort of 6 to 8 centimeters. They go blue. I don't know why they call them a golden dwarf cichlid. Maybe the females have got more gold than the males, but the males have definitely got blue to them. They're a very peaceful little fish. You don't want any more than a pair of them in, like, say, a 60 centimeter tank. If you've got a 4-foot tank or bigger, you can have a pair of these, a pair of dwarf rams, something like that. But if you've only got like more than one pair in a little tiny tank, once they pair up and they start to breed, they're going to chase everyone out of their territory. But they're fine with tetras, they're fine with raspora, Corydoris, all those small, peaceful little fish. Coming from South America, again, they are tropical, so 22 to 26 degrees, and pH-wise 6 to 7. They will be fine. We finally got them back in after, I think, a few months of not having any of those. I'm pretty sure we've got more dwarf cichlids too. Let's have a look. We do! Pistogrammer Agazi. Okay, don't ask me what coloured Agazi these are. And Pistogrammer is just another small dwarf cichlid from South America. They're going to max out about that 5 to 6 centimetre size. Again, you can have a pair in a 60 centimetre tank, but like a 2-foot tank, or you can have a couple of pairs in a bigger tank. Yeah, very pretty little tiny dwarf cichlids. The males have more colour than the females, but they're going to spawn like normal cichlids do, look after their babies, and you usually get a few survive if your water quality is good. So like the water slightly acidic and slightly soft, so low GH. pH anything from 6 to 7, and temperature wise anything 24 to 28, they will be fine. Very lovely little fish, and they're starting to get colour in the bag. Hopefully they have colour on screen, but it does take them usually a week or two to get colour. So yeah, they may not have colour that you see there, but when they mature, they look absolutely awesome. And there are so many different localities and colour varieties and stuff like that. No idea what they're going to be like, but even the ugly ones are nice. Famous last words. More Pistogrammer Catatodes. I can never pronounce that right, but they are a different species of Pistogrammer. Everything that kind of applies to the Agazi applies to these. But these will get a lovely sort of orange to them, sort of orangey red, depending on what variety they are again. So if they look orange, they're the orange ones. If they look red, they're the red ones. If they look both, they're probably both. I'm not entirely sure. But small, peaceful, awesome little fish. Males have more colour than females, so I'm sure we've got a mixture of males and females there, hopefully. Haven't really looked in the bag, but yeah, they're a bit hard to tell in the bag, but there's some that are definitely males and some that are most likely females. So if you want some really cool little dwarf cichlids that aren't normal rams, like your German blue rams and all that sort of stuff, Pistogrammer are a pretty awesome little dwarf cichlid if you want something cool, which is tropical, not cool. Next. Okay, something that is cool and will survive cool is these, which are super red paradise fish. Haven't had these for a while either, so these will max out about that sort of 10 centimetres, bright red, blue on the tail, well, the dorsal fin, which is not really the tail. Tail's kind of clear. Yeah, the tail's clear. Maybe it's got a tiny bit of blue on it. Blue on the dorsal fin and bright red in the body. These will survive cold to warm, so anything from like 10 degrees Celsius up to 30 degrees Celsius, and pH-wise 6.5 to 7.5. So they're pretty tolerant as long as there's no sudden changes. Very pretty fish if you want something that breathes through the surface, perfect for like little ponds on patios and stuff like that, or unheated aquariums. Really, really nice fish. They can get nippy, so you don't want to mix them with goldfish because they tend to go for the eyes of the goldfish, but on their own or with groups of cool water schooling fish like rainbow fish and minnows and stuff like that, they'll be perfectly fine. You don't want to put a big one of these in a little tank with little minnows because they're going to harass them, but in a bigger tank they're generally going to be fine. Otherwise, schools of rainbow fish and that, they'll go perfectly fine with them. But yay, super red paradise fish back in. Okay, a fish we have never had before, I know, and they're called a bleeding blue tetra. There's been a lot of tetras in the last sort of 5-10 years that have been imported that we have not seen, and these are one of them. I think we haven't seen these before, and they've only been around for the last few years, what we've noticed. Bleeding blue tetra. South American, again, a schooling fish, anything from like 6 to 7 pH, and temperature-wise, 24, 26 degrees on average. Don't know a lot about these, but I'm pretty sure because of the species name, they're going to max out about that sort of 5 centimeters on average, and they're relatively peaceful as far as I know. So I would keep them with other tetras and Corydoris and Raspora. Yeah, I have not kept them before, so I couldn't tell you if they're okay with guppies or not, because yeah, some of the new tetras look fine and then they're super aggro. Go figure. So yeah, bleeding blue tetra. Weird. That is a weird name. I don't think they bleed blue blood, do they? We're not going to find out, are we? So I'm guessing they just go a lovely blue color. If I can Google one and find a photo, it'll be on the screen somewhere. If not, well, it'll be on the screen somewhere. I'm sure I can Google that. I'm sure I have before. But yeah, very, very cool fish. If you want a different schooling tetra, go for those. And hopefully they don't eat guppies. Don't put them with guppies until we know. Comment down below and we can tell you. There you go. I better Google those. Tetra we do know about. These are KERRY Tetras or blue Ember Tetras. Lovely, peaceful fish. And they're going to max out a little bit bigger, so about 6 centimeters or so. Not as big as a normal Emperor Tetra because they're a different species, but they get a lovely purple-blue hue to the whole thing. Yeah, it kind of sounds like the last Tetras we were talking about, bleeding blue, but these are sort of purple hue. That's very, very close, isn't it? Purple hue, breeding blue. No, not breeding blue, bleeding. Cut. Very nice, peaceful schooling fish. You want to keep them anything from 6 to 7, and temperature-wise, 24, 26 degrees, they will be fine. Schooling, so a group of 5 or more, and they will look really, really nice. Once they get a little bit bigger, really nice, subtle color to them, and they look so awesome in a nice, heavily planted aquarium. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And that was all the fish in this video. If you wanted a discount for any fish or any plants in the shop until this date on the screen, come in and say these keywords. I can't even talk. Contains live worm. Come in and say contains live worm and you will get a discount, 10% off any of the fish or plants in the shop. Members obviously have their members discount code in their members video, but if you're watching this and you see this code to the date on the screen, you can get 10% off if you say contains live worm. Let's see who contains a live worm. Thank you very much for watching. Yes, I know, very normal video, very normal me. Normal. Thank you very much to my members. Thank you for watching everything, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks heaps. Bye.